Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Dafuq Did I Just Watch? With your host, as always, McLemore. This week we'll be recapping and reviewing the 2022 film Top Gun Maverick, starring Jennifer Connelly, Miles Teller, John Hamm, and of course, Tom Cruise. Now, before we get started, I feel like there's something missing. Hang on just one second. There we go. Now that's better. Sorry, had to go get my Top Gun gear for this Top Gun review. Oh, sorry, had to get my Maverick gear for this Maverick review. If you'd still like to see Top Gun Maverick and haven't had the chance yet, go ahead and stop now and return after you've seen it, because there will be a few spoilers coming up. That's right, this is your official spoiler alert. Taking place over 3 decades from the original Top Gun, we find the Navy bringing back all of its top recruits from the Top Gun program for a mission so insane, so impossible, so overall badass that they need the ultimate pilot to teach these new young generation how to do things back in the 80s like we did it. So who are they gonna call? None other than motherfucking Tom Cruise. Yeah, so that's basically the story. Tom Cruise going back to school to show these punk kids how we used to do it back in my day. Overall, really good stuff. With some of the most phenomenal in-cockpit footage I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm pretty sure in cinema history. But before we dive too deep and stuff, I wanted to talk about the progression of the release date of this movie, which was originally supposed to come out like 3+ years ago. Not only has it been delayed, but it's delayed other Tom Cruise projects. It's been, since this was pushed back so far, it had to also push back the next Mission Impossible. So, I mean, very interesting. You want to talk about a movie who has been extremely affected by the pandemic. I don't think anything is a better example than this, and also a great example of the difference between like streaming and waiting for in theaters, right? Because this came at a time when so many movies were released straight to streaming. Like I remember like Mortal Kombat and like so many movies were released on HBO Max, just like boom, straight to home release. King Kong, the Godzilla King Kong, that was another big one. And this is another one that was, I mean, it's been completed since 2019. And has had every opportunity to be streamed straight to home. But Tom Cruise said, how dare you? Do you not know that my name is Tom motherfucking Crush the Box Office Cruise? And it's kind of interesting to see how it kind of like he really bet on no, we're saving this movie for the theaters. You think I wasted all that amazing IMAX time and do you think I sat in a cockpit and had G-forces push my eyeballs into the back of my skull just so that somebody could watch this shit on their fucking little home TV? Fuck you. We're waiting until the theaters open up and I'm putting this shit in IMAX where way it's supposed to be. And hey, man, say what you want about Tom Cruise, but that dude made the right move because it is making all the money in the world, and it is certainly a great movie to see in theaters as loud and as big as possible. And you're goddamn right, I'm going to see it in 4DX and take that roller coaster ride as well. But yeah, back to the whole origin story of when it was supposed to be originally released. So originally supposed to release in July of 2019, which would have made it almost exactly 3 years ago. Originally supposed to release alongside Spider-Man Far From Home. I think to avoid battling Spider-Man, they decided to delay it to June of 2020. So they did about a year delay, and then COVID hits. So the pandemic fucking slams into theaters, and we all know how that went. Nothing was going on, so instead of being released in the summer of 2020, they decided to postpone it to the winter of 2020. So back to the end of December, basically Christmas of 2020. Once we started getting closer to that, we're going to have to push this to summer 2021. So that's another delay. And then we started getting closer to that, and then they go, you know what? Not summer of 2021. Let's do the winter. So we'll push it back to November 2021, but we promise. As we get closer to November, they go, sorry, we're pushing it back to summer 2022, where you'll see it then. And finally, it gets released. Also pushing back I mean, Mission Impossible 7 was supposed to release like this time when Top Gun did, but that's being pushed back to the end of this year, I believe. Yeah, 3 years after its original release date. And 4 years after filming. How crazy is it that Tom Cruise basically just sat on this movie for how long? How crazy is it to have this amazing movie, and like the temptation to just go straight to stream, man, must have been insane. I bet you everybody was saying straight to stream it, dude. Like, Tom, what are you doing? Stream it already. It's been years. We don't even know if the pandemic's gonna end. And Tom Cruise, I don't think you know, I'm Tom Box Office Cruise, bitches. And the dude was right. It paid off. It fucking paid off because it's crushing the box office. Yeah, so we can talk about other stuff. Let's talk about let's talk about something other than the jets, right? Let's talk about the acting. Jennifer Connelly making her appearance as the new love interest, or I guess you could say old love interest. Although she's not in the original, her character technically is. It's kind of a throwaway line about how Maverick was dating some admiral's daughter, but you never see the daughter or the admiral. Until this movie where it's like, huh? Penny, is that you, Admiral's daughter that I used to date a long time ago that you never saw in the original movie? Miles Teller is in the movie as the son of Tom Cruise's late best friend from the previous movie. Also is Glenn Powell, kind of playing like the roles of like the new Maverick and the new Iceman. Glenn Powell plays a great, very cocky and like, I'm the shit kind of attitude. Miles Teller great as well. It's like this new generation fighter class. All performances in this movie is great. I mean, I cannot say anything bad about anybody. Jennifer Connelly, of course, knocking it out of the park. Ed Harris stops by for a little bit at the beginning, and he's fantastic as always. One of the things done very well in this movie is the pacing. It clocks in at just over 2 hours, but feels more like an hour and a half. It feels like it moves very well because anytime the movie starts to slow down a little bit and starts to get like a little bit too romantic or a little bit too in our feelings, don't worry because we get tossed into the cockpit of our F-18 and our adrenaline shoots back up to an 11. And I know I brought it up at the beginning, but I'm going to keep bringing it up because it's amazing. Anytime that their camera is inside of that cockpit, it looks phenomenal. Seeing those mountains and trees fly by and they're doing flips and barrel rolls and you can just see everyone's faces getting fucking pressed back into their fucking skull. It is amazing. It is really phenomenal to see. And all the dogfights and like you feel the speed, you feel the intensity. It's basically gripping your seat the whole time. This movie is a perfect mix. It's got great acting, great action, amazing visuals, a little dash of nostalgia in there as well. It's got everything you want for the perfect summer blockbuster movie, and Tom Cruise knocks it out of the park for this grand slam. Let's go ahead and hit Top Gun with our rating. We're going to give it a solid A+. That's right, this is one of the top movies so far of the year. If you haven't seen it, make sure you get out there, see it as fast as you can, see it on the biggest screen possible, the loudest speakers. It's going to give you the best experience possible. See it in 4DX. I haven't seen it in 4DX, but you're goddamn right I'm going to see it in 4DX. I need to feel the speed. I got the need for speed. But yeah, on a serious note, it is a fantastic movie. You'll love it. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Dafuq Did I Just Watch? If you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe. Feel free to comment what you thought about the movie and comment any other shows or movies you'd like us to review here at Dafuq. I am your host, as always, Kyle McLemore, a.k.a. Goldilocks. And we'll see you next time.